Big.
Okay, I want to talk about one other movie because I did see Roman J. Israel.
Oh yes, and I watched that too.
Now Roman J. Israel.
I liked it. I didn't mind it. I mean,
yeah, it's not an Oscar movie, so take that off the table. I thought it was a completely fine, enjoyable movie. If you read, have you read Odie Henderson's review of it?
Oh man, I did read it because I went to see it. I went to go see it. Hold on a second. I went to go see it last night with a friend of mine, a fan of the show, Chris Carr, who really loved the movie. So he had read Odie Henderson's review of it. Boy, what a nasty takedown of it! I mean, he was obviously insulted.
More than that, it's completely wrong.
Yeah.
First of all, there's a couple of instances in his review where he compares it to the trailer. Like, the scene in the movie is completely different from the way they portray it in the trailer. And I'm like, what are you reviewing, the movie or the trailer?
Or the trailer. I mean, wait a second.
And another point he makes, he's like, Denzel Washington steals all this money so he could buy suits and expensive hotels and all that kind of stuff. Why didn't he just use his salary?
Because he didn't have a salary. His salary was $500 a week.
Yeah.
Well, if you listen to the movie, he was making $500 a week. Colin Farrell said, "We'll double it." $1,000 a week in Los Angeles. What is that going to give you? You can't buy expensive suits and big high-rise apartments and all that kind of. So that was completely off the wall too.
He was obviously insulted by it. I should add that he's insulted. I think he felt personally insulted by the movie because he saw the character as being an Asperger's sufferer, and Odie Henderson in his review admits to being on the Asperger's spectrum, and I think he feels like the movie is an insult to Asperger's.
Another point that he made is Denzel Washington's character has this sweeping kind of legislation that he's been penning where he wants to change the penal system. He says that this could have ramifications for particularly poor people who are misused by the system, and he just needs somebody to back him on it and co-author it and sponsor it and that kind of thing to see it through. Colin Farrell, by the end, he kind of bites and agrees to help him. Odie's argument was that we don't even know what this legislation is. We don't know the particulars of it. There's a big scene where Denzel Washington is talking about the piece of that he's written to Colin Farrell, and he talks at great length with a lot of words. It's like an Aaron Sorkin-esque kind of monologue.
Yeah,
it is clear to us that he understands what's in it. I don't necessarily have to understand every detail of it. I'm not watching like a legal documentary. I just have to feel like he understands. Okay.
What's this gentleman who wrote this review's name? What's this guy's name?
Odie Henderson. He wrote it for RogerEbert.com. Yeah.
Okay, did Odie Henderson go to the bathroom during a lot of the movie, though? Did he go to the bathroom and get this? I thought all the things he's making, I mean, especially the legislation, that's a big part of the movie where he explains it to Colin Farrell, what the legislation is. I have to say,
and you don't have to understand it chapter and verse. That's my point. We just have to know that he understands it. You know?
It's about a guy who did Nightcrawler, which is one of my favorite movies of that year. My favorite movie of that year. And I like the movie because it does have some of those elements from Nightcrawler, those oh my god moments, if you want to call them, that you can't, especially the last act. And I thought it was one of the better things I've liked Denzel Washington in quite some time. But who I thought was equally very good was Colin Farrell. Was equally very good. Right. I think it's a very entertaining film. I think it's a very well made movie. You're right. I don't know if it's Oscar worthy, but it's certainly a very good movie.
Another criticism of Odie's was the last song that they used, that "I'll Be Around" song. I think is that like the Spinners or something.
Yep.
And he says it doesn't. He complained that the use of it, like why, like it doesn't make any sense in the context of the movie. It makes perfect sense because Colin Farrell is seeing his legislation through.
He'll be around through that.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know.
I'm sorry. I have to say, after watching The Disaster Artist, which I guess we'll talk about next week, which I thought was wonderful yesterday, a very funny, very very enjoyable movie. It's like, did Tommy Wiseau write this review for Roman J. Israel? It sounds like something Tommy Wiseau.
Well, it's an outrageous review. It is incredibly nasty. It's a takedown, basically.
Right.
And it absolutely gives no credence to the quality of Denzel Washington's performance, which he really just sort of brushes it off as an insulting performance and a kind of a showboat, I guess. He complains about his frumpiness in it. I love the fact that now that Denzel is doing a movie where he transforms himself. I don't think he does it enough.
I love the physicality of the character.
Yeah,
I mean, if you obviously, like, one of the main models he used for that character, it has to be Cornel West.
Mm-hmm,
because that's what I thought of, and then he gives him like this Forrest Whitaker gait, like this Forrest Whitaker kind of body. I don't know how else to say it, but it's a basically physical performance. It's a transformation. The way he walks defines the character to a great extent.
It's a great performance.
I thought it was it's a pleasure to see him act. It really is.
Yes,
it
really
is.
Nice.
And it's also wonderful how the movie doesn't conform to our expectations. We expect that it's going to be a movie that's going to end in a big court case. It doesn't. We expect that Colin Farrell is going to be an asshole. He isn't.
But he's not, though. That's
right. You know what's interesting? Is as soon as Roman becomes corrupted, Colin Farrell begins to become more righteous in his behavior.
Yes.
It's an interesting dichotomy that happens.
You know, another thing that Odie Harrison did was he characterized Odie Henderson. Did I say his name wrong? Another thing he did, he characterized Carmen Jogo's. Jogo's. I forget how to say it, but he characterizes her as a love interest. She's not a love interest. She's she's an admirer. And it feels like it could go that way if Roman Israel was a different person, maybe, but it is not that at all. So, I want to say this: if I have one complaint about the movie, I feel that at 2 hours and 10 minutes it is a little long. There was a point in it where I was like, there's a few too many montages and things going on here.
I didn't know it was that long. I didn't notice the time go by, to be honest with you, Dean. I didn't even notice. I was so, because I guess I like the filmmaker a lot and I like the story and everything. I got so wrapped up in it, I didn't really even notice the time go by. I didn't realize it was that long. So
I will put a qualifier in here just to be honest. I saw the movie third in yesterday's lineup, and that's after. So yesterday I saw Lady Bird first, 3 Billboards, Roman Israel, and then I stuck my head into Coco for a little while, and I watched a little bit of Wonder as well. And then, plus, I'm sitting through probably 45 minutes worth of trailers, which can really blow your mind.
Right.
Yeah. And so by the last third of Roman Israel, I was pretty much knocked out.
You should have hated. I mean, given that day that you had, and Roman Israel capped it off. It was, you could have been tired of watching movies and you would have hated it, but you don't hate it.
No,
it's not an Oscar movie. It's just a good, strong, entertaining movie.
It's a great character study. A good character study.
I encourage people to go see it. Yeah,
that's what it is. It's a character study, and that's all it is. It is not a plot-driven movie. We expect it to be, but it's not. And I like that it subverted our expectations. I just wish it was a little shorter.
And it's not on par with Nightcrawler.
No, it's not. But it wants to be. No, it's not. And I agree with you. But it does have some of those same. I think we should. I like to call them
it's
the
an
oh
LA
my God
movie.
moments.
I mean, I think he's making really good LA movies.
Yeah,
maybe that's his shtick.
And also movies about outsiders, flirting with being insiders.
Creepy.
Yes.
He's not creepy, and the guy, and that's sorry, Jake Gyllenhaal's performance in Nightcrawler. That's just one of the creepiest in recent memory.
It's a scary psychopath performance. This is not that. So
it's not that, but it does have what I call those like oh my God moments of Nightcrawler. It has a couple of those.
But you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right though that LA's a great story to tell character portraits of outsiders that want to be insiders. And that's what you're right, Dean. That's what Nightcrawler is, and that's what Roman Israel is too. Because what that represents when he makes that moral decision halfway through is he finally wants to know how the other half lives. Like
and he's kind of forced in it too. He can't, Farrell is saying you got to buy you some new suits, man. This ensemble that you got going on that you've thrown together is not working anymore.